Welcome to Keys to KC, the podcast that helps homebuyers make smart moves in the Kansas City market. I'm Wendy McDermott, and today we're talking about one of the biggest myths in home buying, the idea that you need 20% down to buy a house. Spoiler alert, you don't. But there's a reason that number gets thrown around so much, and understanding where it comes from and what your options are now can save you a lot of stress and maybe even get you into a home sooner. All right, let's start with the 20% rule. Where did it come from? Back in the day, decades ago, lenders wanted to protect themselves if a buyer stopped making payments. They figured that if someone put 20% down, the bank was covered if they had to resell the house. So it wasn't really about helping buyers. It was about protecting lenders. And for a long time, that was just the way it was done. But today's market is completely different. Government-backed loan programs and private mortgage insurance, or PMI, have changed the game. Now, most people don't need 20% down, and honestly, most first-time buyers don't have it. And that's okay. So how much do you actually need? Well, it depends on the loan type. Let's break it down. If you're going with a conventional loan, the minimum is often just 3% down. If you qualify for an FHA loan, that's 3.5% down. If you're a veteran or active duty military, VA loans can get you into a home with zero down. And if you're buying in a rural or suburban area, there's the USDA loan, also with no down payment required. That means if you're buying, say, a $300,000 home, you could potentially buy with $9,000 to $10,000 down, not $60,000. For a lot of folks, that difference turns someday into maybe this year. Now, you might be wondering, and if I put down less, what's the catch? The catch is called PMI, private mortgage insurance. PMI is a small monthly fee that's added to your mortgage payment if you put down less than 20%. It protects the lender in case you stop making payments. But here's the part most people don't realize. PMI isn't forever. Once you build up 20% equity in your home, either through paying down your loan or your home increasing in value, you can request to have it removed. And sometimes, depending on your loan, it drops off automatically. So yes, you might pay PMI for a while, but it's not permanent, and it's often worth it to get into a home sooner. Let's zoom in on what this means for Kansas City buyers in 2025. Right now, the median home price in Kansas City is sitting around $290,000 to $300,000, depending on the neighborhood, with rent prices continuing to rise, especially in areas like Waldo, Brookside, and North Kansas City. A lot of renters are realizing that even with a smaller down payment, their monthly mortgage payment could be less than their rent. And here's some good news. Both Kansas and Missouri have down payment assistance programs to help home buyers. Sometimes these are forgivable loans, meaning that if you live in the home for a few years, you don't have to pay that money back. All right, so let's talk about the pros and cons of putting less than 20% down. The pros are pretty obvious. You can buy a home sooner. You keep more money in your savings for emergencies or home improvements, and you start building equity instead of paying rent. Now, the cons, you'll have PMI for a bit. Your monthly payment will be a little higher, and you'll have a smaller equity cushion if home prices dip short term. But here's the thing. Waiting years to save up 20% could mean paying higher prices later. Home values in Kansas City have been trending upward, and while they've cooled a bit, they're still expected to rise gradually. So, in many cases, it's smarter to buy now with a smaller down payment than to wait 3 or 4 years trying to save up the full 20%. So, what should you do next? Number 1, talk to a local lenders like me. Number 2, ask about down payment assistance in Kansas or Missouri. You might be surprised how much help is available. And number 3, run the numbers for your own situation. Sometimes buying with 5% down is actually cheaper long term than waiting to save 20%. It's all about what makes sense for you. All right, let's wrap it up. You do not need 20% down to buy a home. You just need the right information, the right loan, and a plan that fits your budget. If this helped you, hit that like button, share it with a friend who's dreaming about buying their first home, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Next week, we're breaking down how much house you can really afford, including all those hidden costs most people forget about. I'm Wendy McDermott with Synergy One Lending, and this has been Keys to KC, helping you unlock your home buying one step at a time.